Hi y'all, Ayla here, and welcome back to my channel. Let me lower this a little bit. Hope y'all having a great day. Confess I'm a little bit nervous. There was something that happened in my life several years ago that my husband and I refer to as the story. When we talk about it, we're talking about the story. And I have been wanting to do a video telling you all this story because to me, it's a perfect example of how the most insignificant thing can actually have a momentous effect on somebody else's life. And I imagine that there's a lot of things like that in the world, and that 99% of the time we never know about the effect that little things we do have on other people. I mean, there's a little example I can give. A woman, when I was working at Barnes & Noble, I was a cashier, and a woman came up to check out, and I don't remember if she had on a necklace or earrings. She has on some jewelry or something that I thought was really beautiful, and I complimented her on it. And she started to walk away after we were done, and she turned back and she went, "You know, that's the first nice thing I've had said to me all day." She had tears in her eyes. And I generally closed, so more than likely she had gotten off work, so more than likely it was after 5 p.m. at night. She had gone all day without having heard a nice thing said about her or to her. So, you know, they're a little thing I did. All I did was compliment her on a piece of jewelry that she had on that I liked. And that, you know, had a positive effect on her. But what I'm talking about is momentous. This story is going to blow your mind when you hear how it ends. I've got notes here because I don't want to lose track, and I'm going to be doing a get ready with me while I'm at it from start to finish because I don't really know how long it takes me to do the story. I probably should have practiced that and timed it or something. So before I actually get started, I am using my Vichy mineral water, my cellar water, and my Dollar Tree $1 thing of cotton rounds, which I have tried the really nice ones from Target, and you know what? They ain't nice enough to be worth whatever they cost. $1 for 100. Yeah, $1 for 100 is fine with me. So I was working one day at Barnes & Noble as cashier, and I had a customer come up. Behind me on some shelves were some very expensive toys. They were $350. They were Lego Mindstorm. So that's, you know, important in a way. And she asked to see it. The rule was they could be at the register next to me. If you've never been in a Barnes & Noble, at least our Barnes & Noble anyways, had 8 registers just in a row. And we had, you know, they're all on a shelf. And so there's, you know, a register and a space for the customer to put their stuff, and a register and a space and all. So my space was over here and my register here. So I put the toy here and she could look at it and stand here while I continued to ring other people. Now I could see her and I could see that the toy was still there. That's all that, you know, was required of me. You know, she wasn't stealing the toy because unfortunately these toys were incredibly high theft, which is why they were kept behind me. And so she looked at it. I checked out a few people and she handed back and said, you know, "I'll think about it." And she had asked questions and all. She seemed very interested in the toy. And by the way, I'm just wiping the day off. I've just gotten home from work, and you would think you don't get dirty just sitting in an office. But, you know, I got a shower before I went to work, and I don't know if you can see. Yeah, look at this was white. This is grunge from the day. How do you get dirty just sitting in a cubicle? So I continued to ring at people, and she apparently went throughout the store and talked to somebody at customer service, went in the music department, talked to somebody there, made herself very visible so that we all got a good look at her. It was very strange. She came back up got in line and decided and told me, I decided I want the toy. So I got the toy and rang it up. And it was the same toy that I chose because it was just the one on front and center. So that's what I got. And it rang up $99. I know for a fact that toy is $350 and it's not on sale. Why is it ringing up $99? I was very confused. I'm looking at it and going, mine's mine. Lego mine's Lego mine. I didn't catch at first that it said Lego Mind something else. It didn't say Mindstorm like the toy actually was. Normally I would do some toner, but since I'm actually not, I am going to make a few videos after this, but I'm not going to bother with toner right now because I did use it this morning. And I've been working a lot, so my face is kind of stressed. I don't need to really strip the oils off my face. I am now, of course, using my Mineral 89, the Heaven of All serums. I don't know what you call where this fits in at all. I use this before I use a serum. This is the first thing I use after cleansing. And it's just this clear stuff that I absolutely love. So anyways, I told the customer, I'm really sorry. I'm not sure what's going on here. I still hadn't caught that the name was different, but I knew the price wasn't right. It's like the toy is $350. It is not $99. And then I look and I realize that the price, this barcode is a sticker. I'm like, that's not. So I grab another one and I'm looking, I'm going, it's not a sticker on this one. And wait a minute. And then I noticed the names are different. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know how this happened, but the sticker from another toy somehow got on this one. And I am naive, y'all. 20 plus years in retail, and people still manage to shock the heck out of me every day with the crap they came up with her. Well, I'm sure they're still coming up with it, but I'm not in retail anymore, so I don't know. But just dumbfounded. I mean, I really, yeah, whatever. So I just apologized, took the sticker off and set it aside and asked, do you still want the toy? And she, of course, said no. And she bought us some other book and she left. And I'm sitting there going, there's really something hinky here. So I call my manager. And I tell her, and luckily the actual store manager was there. And I tell her what's going on and I show her the barcode. And she, being a store manager, is much more in tune with reality than I will ever be, and immediately called our other store because we had two stores in the city. I live in Louisville, Kentucky, for anyone who doesn't know. And so we had to have two stores in the city. So she called the other one and gave them a heads up. Anybody might be coming your way, might be trying to change price stickers and all that kind of thing. Sure enough, about a half hour later, she shows up. I gave a very good description of her, and y'all, I hate to say it, but when I first saw her, when I looked up and went, I always go, hi. I was like, hi. She wasn't deformed, but she was the most unpleasant looking person I've ever seen in my life. And when you hear about what kind of life she was leading, you probably won't be any more surprised than I was now that I know. I probably wouldn't be attractive either in any way, shape, or form if I lived the kind of life she has lived. And you'll hear that soon. But this is Vichy's Aquila Thermal Eye stuff. What is it? Serum for the eyes. It's not in English. I think this is one that's in Russian. Nope, that's French. I've got one for some reason, Vichy, that came in, it's in Russian. I have no idea. Cyrillic, whatever, Cyrillic. Is it Cyrillic? Anyways, it doesn't matter. So the other store was prepared. And sure enough, she showed up. So they got their cameras really tuned in and got some really good pictures of her. And then they called the FBI. Called the police. She wasn't any more successful at their store than she was at ours. That was the last I heard of her. We made a report to the police. I didn't talk to the police. My manager did, and I guess the manager at the other store did, and pictures were given and stuff. I don't know really anymore. I have no idea what really happened for a while after that. And I heard nothing for months. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do on that. I'm not going to actually moisturize because in a few hours I'll be taking this makeup off, and then I'll be doing my nightly moisturizer, and I already did my morning routine, which would just consist of lotion on my face. So pretend I did that. And now I'm going to be using my CoverGirl Clean Sensitive 510. I probably really need to be throwing this away soon because I've had this for about a year. When I decided to go back into trying to wear makeup again, this was the first thing I bought. And this is that same bottle. And I use a brush for mine, and it's actually clean. I cleaned my brushes, y'all. It's a miracle. It really is. So, months go by. And then my boss, actually, let me backstep a little bit. The day after that happened, the district manager comes to town. Just, he has, regular visits. And so he wanted to hear about it. He thought it was very interesting that we had stopped, because it had been a real problem at Barnes & Nobles all over. It probably been a real problem everywhere, the stealing of these Mindstorms. Because they were one of the most expensive things we carried. And I'm just dotting this around on my face. And so he was all excited, and he was really disappointed when I told him that, all I did was, take the sticker off and say, would you still like to buy it? But at $350, that's it. And then of course, told my manager, all I did, and I'm going to stress this very, very strongly. All I did was my job. Nothing extraordinary at all. And that is the crux of this for me, is that I did nothing extraordinary, but the result. Oh my gosh, you all, I cannot wait to get to the end and tell you the end. So he was disappointed that there wasn't anything more interesting. I don't know what he thought I was going to tell him. Yeah, I wrestled her to the ground and got a confession out of her. Whatever. So I'm just smoothing this, blending it in with my brush. It's a big old fluffy brush from e.l.f. But months go by, and my boss tells me that we've had some updates. That turns out the FBI were interested in her. FBI was interested in her. FBI were interested. Yeah, that's right. So she gets caught by the FBI and immediately flips and tells on her husband, who is the person the FBI was really interested in. I'm looking for a particular thing that I'm not seeing for some reason. I had it out. I was trying to be all nice and ready and have everything so that I could just do this. Now I can't find it. It's the thing that I use for my mirror. I don't know where it is. It's also the first thing I put on my eyes. That's really strange that it is. Well, here's me being disorganized. Oh, bugger. I don't believe I can't find this. I don't know where I could have put it. Hello. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just going to... Oh, my hand's like over the camera, I guess. We're just going to move on. Okay. All right. So we'll just use this. There's a mirror in here. Yeah. So anyways, the FBI caught her, and she, like I said, immediately flipped on her husband, who it turns out had not too long before she came into my store. He had been released on parole from prison in Florida. I'm not going to say yet what it was he had been in prison for, but he immediately went off the grid. Did not report for his parole, whatever. I have no idea. I don't really know all of that world. That's just bugging me that I can't find that. But anyways, so she helped them set up a sting to catch him. And they succeeded. And they caught him, and they caught the whole ring, and they caught all sorts of other people involved. And then I'm actually almost at the end of the story here, and I barely even put any makeup on. But then bigwigs from Barnes & Noble corporate, some vice presidents, started coming down to make visits to meet me, and were informed that I was the Duchess, because that's my nickname. That was my nickname there. It's the Duchess. And a press release was made. He was a pedophile. And they couldn't find him. He had vanished. He had dropped off the face of the earth. When they found him, he had already kidnapped more girls, young girls. And the FBI and others said, and the police, FBI, if it hadn't been for the fact that I didn't let her get away with buying that toy for 99 cents, if I hadn't stopped her, if I hadn't told my boss, if I hadn't just done my job, they probably still wouldn't have caught him. I mean, and this is a few years later. And 2 years afterwards, bigwigs were still coming to visit, to meet me and hear the story. And we're always disappointed at how insignificant my role was. All I did was my job. But because I did my job, there is a man who is now in prison for the rest of his life who will never hurt another young girl or never hurt anyone unless he hurts him in jail. And that's a whole different story. But he won't hurt a girl. He won't kidnap young girls from their families. He won't force them into prostitution. He won't rape them. And all because I just did my job. So never, ever doubt that what you do the effect it may have on someone else. You never know, or you usually don't know. I'm lucky enough that I have seen a result that is just mind-boggling. So, again, I was, stress again. I did nothing extraordinary. I stopped a shoplifter, and I didn't even do it in an interesting way. I just said, oh, I'm sorry, it's not that price. It's, really $350. Did you still want it? And then I told my boss. And that's it. But it led to a pedophile being removed from the world. And I honestly can't think of anything more. I don't even know a word. I really don't. I don't have a word to describe what that means. There are little girls who are safe simply because I did my job. And never, ever doubt what effect you're having on the world, because if something as insignificant as what I did can have an effect like that, what kind of effects do you have? I'm not going to finish the Get Ready With Me because I'm going to start crying. But I am going to post this just the way it is. And just reiterate one more time, this isn't about me. This isn't about what I did. This is about you and how things you do can have amazing effects on the whole world. And 99% of the time, you won't know what that effect is. You have a good day. Bye.